So next we've got Nicole.
Crack-a-low. That means what's happening? Nilo Lindum, I'm very happy to be here, and I've prayed and asked the Creator that I can say the right words, and that the ancestors are with me. Ooh, and they're pushing stuff off the table. The reason for my garb is I'm a little bit country. That's my natural context, where I feel uncontested in those spaces. And the top is a little bit rock and roll. Tobacco, you see me giving tobacco a lot, and tobacco was our first plant. And Creator gave it to us in our creation story to remind us that we are caretakers of the earth, not owners of it. And so in that frame, I ask that all of you blue-collar scholars, that's what I call myself. It's a traditional person who has a PhD, who has an Indian name that's got a responsibility to be the fence. Where is the scholar? I'm the fence. I'm better than any fence Donald Trump is trying to put up. That's all I want to say. And I know I'm live streaming. Boo. There you go. Boom. So in that way, we are, I feel I am caretaker of knowledge, not owner of it, because much of what I get access to, you can flip. I got to go fast. I'm trying to get to the video at the end. Anishik is the way we say thank you to all of our warriors, our elders, our ancestors that are here with us, and our new generations that are coming. I'm hoping I'm being a good auntie, and I'm just thankful to be here. My story of Wachiwaniu Kanewuk is I have a Mohican and Lenape father, the real stoic one on the left, logger. I know how to sharpen, chainsaws by hand and drive big equipment, and he's pretty stoic and hardcore. And my mother is Kumbaya Katie, the Polish lady on the other side of me. And I have the wickedest DNA of my mom and dad, because I can look at you mean and be mad with one eye and be totally bawling with the other. So thanks, Mom and Dad. My children are my nieces and nephews. It was Creator's plan for me to be a good auntie. And so that's what I do, and that's my medicine girl, Sienna Ajinakwe, my earth angel. And also there's Nikki on the end, evaluator. And just very important that I remember, sometimes my first space that used to be a contested space is, who am I as a mixed race person? What are the things that the tribe, elected, blood quantum, doctrine of discovery puts on you, right? Used to be ashamed if you're a descendant or if you're this amount or that amount. In the spirit of evaluation, I say my metrics are not blood quantum metrics. Those are important to establish that there is a connection, but they don't mean that you are being a good auntie in your community, that you are helping elders whenever they ask, that you're learning the language, even if it's one word a day. And my whole presentation is about origin stories, and we can do this. I love when you talked about, I don't know, the hologram, and there's quantum physics, and there's people way smarter than me in this room, but it's our elders' knowledge seems simple, but it's very complex, and it's experiential. And they don't tell you all the answers because they want you to learn, because they want you to be a teacher. We're all elders in training, and my prayer always is to someday be able to reach that. And so we can start with our own origin stories, and mine was a difficult one. You're not brown enough, you're not white enough, And so it's transformative, because even we have to remember in a traditional way that the trauma our elected officials carry, or the people who talk mostly about blood quantum, they don't even understand what being Lenape and Mohican in a traditional sense means. So I choose not to be a tool of colonization. I choose not to clap back. I choose to continue to learn from the earth and from my ancestors and Wachitek and Chokalile, who's probably hopefully floating around this room, who gave me my name. Flying Eagle Woman, accompanied by the 4 eagles, Wampalanewuk. Because he knew that the 4 colors and the 4 directions long before, and I sort of mentioned it yesterday, was happening. So you're going to see a lot of the medicine wheel. We can whip to that. I'm going to go eastern door, southern door, western door, northern door. It's going to be super fast because, it would just take too long. So the eastern door, and we can go to the next one. These are origin stories inside of yourself. And my origin story It's about family. Where did I come from? We can go next one. It's about community. It's about culture. You heard about personal journeys. You see our mask, Misingwuk, is up on the left. That's of our Lenape Big House. I don't claim to be an expert on that. You'll never get a PhD in culture, right, in language. Books can't argue back, is what my elder said. Try to earn an eagle feather. That could take a lifetime. Those are what's important. Our tree of peace, we have lots of tree stories, and I've been trying to give birth to that. And the first treaty that happened in the United States was the Treaty of Fort Pitt with the Delaware tribe. Anyways, we're supposed to have equal representation in Congress and stuff, and we're still waiting on that, and there's hope, you know, how the treaty thing goes. Anyways, so the rest of the pictures is Beaumont down in the bottom corner. I know my family history. I can trace back at least 7 generations. Beaumont and Bowman, beautiful mountain is what it translates to. And Bowman is beautiful man, and I'm like, well, where's the Bow woman? Okay. And so I just love learning the history of my family, of my culture, why I kind of am a little bit sassy. I'm like, okay. And then the nieces and nephews are the 7 generation thinking. And my little Sienna is sort of sassy like her auntie, so, you know, I encourage all of that. A little. Southern Door are the origin stories of others in context and place. Why does this matter? Tell your own origin stories. AEA has been here 31 years. Hello to all my AEA colleagues. We have been here. We are the original people of the land. What stories? Do not let a tree without roots define you. Do not let yourself be stuck in your head and in theory. We are blue-collar scholars. Like, why are we here? I'm not here to publish something. I know I have to do that, or they don't let you come around, you know? Why do you get a PhD? So you can decolonize, you know, so you can dismantle the colonizer's house, so you can build a lodge, a big house. You can see across time, and I have to give a shout out, Fiona's here, and Katie Tibbetts, and Joan LaFrance put together the first New Directions in Evaluation, the first ever all Indigenous journal. If you haven't had it, go see Fiona, it's amazing. This is a African tree. Donna Mertens, a friend of ours, has a transformative tree. Women speaking back, Indigenous people speaking back. What's your tree story? I want to know your tree story. Because I don't think we would single out and have a tree. We would have a forest and we would celebrate it. It would be a community. It would be ecosystem. So origin stories of context and place. Also, somebody talked about the bones of our ancestors being here, right? I think the Western theory tree for evaluation doesn't have roots because they don't want to acknowledge the space that they're in. I'm contesting that space. And anybody who knows me, I've been kicked off Eval Talk at least 4 times. Who can beat that? Hi, Eval Talk. So these origin stories matter because you have connections to the earth where the blood and bones of your ancestors are, and you have connections to the stars. We are not 2-dimensional, we are metaphysical. And you have to give yourself time to rest so you can reach to both and build within. Our roots, we have roots, and our ancestors died. Our ancestors also danced and celebrated. We have to have positive narratives about us, not just about death. We have to talk about our stories of life and resiliency and leadership and love. Next slide. This is the land of the Lenape, and if you don't know about critical cartography, please do. Critical cartography helps to decolonize maps, and you can tell stories of place. And so I don't say, when people are like, where are you from? I'm like, Turtle Island, otherwise known way later on as North America. That's our map. I recognize this land and your waters. I have shells on, or they were on, and yesterday because my waters on the northeastern shore of Turtle Island touch your waters. Your shells, our shells. Original. Date of Is, the original date of Is, right, was done on wampum belts. Those were shells. We are always the first people. Origin stories matter. In the West is an important door. You're going to come across challenges. If you have good origin stories and you're working on so you're not so confused on the inside, right? And sometimes you still get confused, but that's what the Western door is for. Evaluation wants you to say what's good or bad. My elders tell me it's what is. Everything is your teacher. Everything that happens to you is to teach you something. But do you have enough knowledge? Are you paying attention? Are you being in ceremony? Are you resting and doing the right things? Everybody knows I'm bonkers, like traveling here. I get in my head sometimes, you know. So I have to go back. Shush. So, I really love this. I stole it from Native Memes. You know, I'm sort of about taking it to the limit. I'm an Aries. I'm an elder in training, and I pray that I can work my way to that. So as I roll, these origin stories, I used to only have a couple dots on top, and it's sort of like self-assessment, but like, okay, what am I picking up that applies? You know, I've learned about our Lenape medicine. I go to culture and language camp all the time where we just speak our language. I do ceremonies, I do special ceremonies, like to prepare for coming here and doing things in the right way. How do you add on? How do you add on? And how do you take from the contemporary? What are you learning? Because you have to, remember I talked about lily pads? Because you have to speak into the listening. If you want to be transformative, I can't be in warrior mode all the time, even though that's like my first, second, third, and fourth gear, you know. You have to find ways to work with people and be strategic and transformative in your thinking. So that will develop as you go. And the Northern Door is about stories of being timeless and wise, looking back. The gray in your hair, all strength. Looking to the west, and then looking to the north. How do we heal? How do we ask for help? From the spirit world, from the people that you know here. How do you use the 7 teachings? Honesty, truth, humility, love, wisdom, courage, and respect. That's the next slide, sorry. How do you use those teachings every day? In your work, in your contracting, when you design evaluations, when you become frustrated. You know, how do you apply that? How do you have cultural and academic humility? Lord knows, I mean, Eval Indigenous, how many times have I apologized over email? 7 generations thinking. My work today will affect the next 7 generations. As a result of me understanding origin stories, I gave birth to this tree because I felt it in me right away. You can go to the next one. That I wanted to speak back. I'm not sure what'll happen. I've been getting root teachings and tree teachings, but I'm going to find out what that means and how I lay the medicine wheel over the top of it. But you can see roots. This came to me in a dream at the end of the year. I scribble on paper too. But you can see ancestors up in the top corner. The roots are in the bottom. The teachings are all around. That's supposed to be a little eagle. I'm not a great drawer because I'm Wampanoag. What are going to be the tree stories? Let that, however long your vagina is winking or twitching or whatever is going on, let it gestate as long as it needs to. There is no time. It will come when it comes. And just to conclude, because if you don't take time to connect, I don't sing a song, but I wrote new words to the sounds of silence. Break the sounds of silence within yourself, within your community. I don't know if you can hear the melody. Can you turn it up? No? Thank you. Fast. Our ancestors and elders are all around. Say it fast. Spirits are strong, we are rising. We are rising. That's my grandpa liberating them. Elder in training, sorry. This warning, the seventh generation is still coming. Spiritual wall. Can you hear them call? Silence. You get the point. Yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry it didn't all line up, but.
Thank you, that was awesome.
Somebody lost a tree earring, or is it a sign?
Oh. Ka pai. Our next speaker is Karen Hall.
We're just playing musical chairs.